Hello, everybody. This is Digital Leader Networking Platform. We are very welcome you at online meetup on Occupational Safety and Health in Industry 4.0. We will start the conference very soon, and now we'll have few minutes while everybody are connecting to briefly represent you the platform, the agenda, and talk about what's going to be today during the meeting and how you can participate in that. I will introduce the speakers and other participants very shortly. But now we have a few minutes to present you the platform and the concept. So today, today we have an online meetup regarding the occupational health and safety in Industry 4.0. And first of all, I would like to introduce my co-moderator, Ahmad Abu Samah. He is online over here, and I want to give him a word for the welcome speech about this meetup. Hello, Ahmad, are you here with us?
Hi, sorry. Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody.
Hello. You have the honor to say a few words about that topic and
Yes.
why this topic is very actual for today, and what you feel is the best track for today discussions.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to be the co-moderator for this event. Okay. Thank you for attending this webinar to all everyone. My name is Amar Abu Sama. I'm an associate consultant with Barclays, a consulting firm based in Perth, Australia, down under, which focus on providing world-class culture change services. I agreed to be the co-moderator to this webinar as I believe everyone could get to learn more from peers and subordinates, through the sharing of knowledge and experiences. Okay, let's get down to business. Once again, welcome to Occupational Health and Safety in Industry 4.0 webinar. And thank you for joining us from the safety of your homes or offices. We are all concerned about the current global pandemic, COVID-19, yes. Since early this year, we have seen how people and organizations taking steps to implement and adapt the new normal. Yeah, this is the new normal, yeah. Human beings tend to have ways in finding solution, and this pandemic could not stop us from putting our heads together as we continue to communicate via webinar. So this Industry 4.0 profoundly transform occupational safety measures. Manufacturing companies adopt Vision Zero, a generally accepted concept of a world without occupational accidents, and set the goal of improving employees' well-being at all production stages by implementing risk control, advanced employee training, and state-of-the-art digital tools. Okay, this is an important topic. And it's affecting many of our daily lives, routines, and businesses. So we are honest on how answer the question you have about this Industry 4.0. And thirdly, maybe give you some tools, talking points to share with your fellow peers and subordinates after this. So I think we hope to have a very good session today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your for your greeting words. We have now a few minutes while everybody are connecting, and I will use this time to tell about the platform and other activities. So Digital Leader is a networking platform. So the main goal is to connect people and business cases together. Of course, regarding the digital technologies which are driving our innovations and business transformations recently for many years, and now it's in the peak time. So we are doing a lot of events, and mostly them are online. This somehow is a consistence of this pandemic stuff, but on the other hand, the online events help us to connect people from all over the world with their specific interest and specific expertise. So which is amazing, and now we are sitting at homes and with a safe area and be able to share these cases worldwide. Today we have participants from all over the world, especially from Gulf area and Russia, but also from anywhere. So we have also many more meetings which we conducted and made recently. For example, we already made a meetup regarding the industry 4.0 in general, so the technologies, Internet of Things, and other stuff. We had a meeting regarding the post-pandemic world where business leaders were exchanging their best practices to how support their employees and share cases of economical and technological innovations regarding that. And also we had a guide for virtual reality with immersive technologies. So all this you can find on our platform. You can use Facebook, you can use chats like Telegram, and also LinkedIn platform. But before we go next, and I'll provide you all the links for our resources, we would like to introduce a small contest, a small award for somebody, for people who will participate in this meetup. So we will grant a Netflix subscription, just a small present, but I hope you will find it very pleasant to have it for the best questions and for the most participating speakers and chat activity. So we would like you not to just be participants who are listening the presentations and just making their votes. We here in the Zoom meeting, Zoom webinar, we have a chat, and the first what we want from you is to represent yourself in the chat, to tell something, few words about you, what you're doing, what's your industry, what you are interested in regarding this event. Also, you have specially button like questions and answers. If you want not just to tell your opinion or discuss something, if you want to ask a particular question and you want to be sure you will get an answer in it, please use this functionality to be sure we are getting your question. But also we are reading the chat and all the speakers are participating in the chat. And by the way, what is the most important, you feel free to use your emotions in the chat. We're now online in the digital area, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't have some emotions. Make yourself using emojis or something. Just show your interest. This is something we're very lucky to get from the chat. Also regarding the interactive session, sometimes you'll have a pop-up quiz, like questions about yourself, about your thoughts. Feel free to answer them. As a benefit for you, you will see the results with the figures, and you can use these results later on in your business strategy or just in your presentations. So we are very into engaging you into communication. This is something which is a goal of this meeting. Also, feel free to use our resources. My colleagues will drop down to the chat right now the links. Feel free to follow the links and connect to our LinkedIn profile or Facebook profile, where you can find all the streams, all the events of Digital Leader. And also, I know in some countries or some areas it is blocked, but we are also using a Telegram channel where you can find the whole presentation materials right after they are shown on the screen. So this is the shortest way to get the presentations and figures from this meeting. So feel free to connect all of this. My colleagues are dropping those links into the chat, and you can use them. So now I would like to introduce you, the speakers, the people from different places all over the world who are participating right now. But before we do that, I would like to announce the partners, the companies who support this meeting as well. We organized this event together with NGN International and NNTC. Those are companies based in Bahrain and Dubai, but they are operating on the global market. Actually, from my perspective, they're a very innovative company who are driving the technologies and get some business values for their customers through the leading edge technologies. You can see them widely all over the Gulf area. For example, they are participating every year in the Showcase Innovations at GITEX Technology Week in Dubai, for example, but also they conduct their own events, local events. So feel free to participate them and keep an eye on them. Those are really companies we feel the same chemistry and future vision together. So right now, jumping to the speakers. Today we have 5 speakers and interesting speeches. I will now I'm asking my colleagues to connect with the camera and microphone and I will quickly introduce them. The first speaker will be Ilya Simonov. He is the head of Krok Immersive Technologies from Russia. Ilya, are you here with us?
Yes. Hello, colleagues. Nice to hear you. See you. Sorry, I can see only Alexei and our speakers, not all the audience. So that's why I would love to agree with Alexei. Please use the chat. If you have some questions, some highlights, just write down and we will come back to discuss it. So it will help to see the feedback from our speech. So
okay, yeah, what's your speech will be about today?
Yeah, as you could know, I'm head of immersive technologies. Immersive technologies, it's exactly VR and AR, and our company is focused on creating immersive training solution for safety and safe work in industrial enterprises. So my today's topic will be about success story, about implementing virtual reality training in chemical company. So I will try not to focus on technologies. I will try to focus on how we did it and what for. So
thank you very much, Ilya. We're looking forward to your speech. You will be the first one. It will start very shortly. Also today with us, control system engineer specialist in Saudi Aramco, Ahmad Bilkhaif. Ahmad, hello, how are you?
Hello, hi everyone.
Tell us a few words, please, about yourself and about your speech today. What we should hear from you and know from you.
Well, first of all, thank you for introducing me, and thanks for this is my first time joining your great platform. So like I said, I've been working with Saudi Aramco for the past 22 years. I'm specializing in control systems, and for the past 3 years, I've been doing digital transformation projects and acceleration projects. And I'll be hopefully talking just briefly about the issues, the problems that arise that most people don't think about when you deal with process automation, or when you work in a plant, and you almost always take for granted, that the workers inside those plants are more like robots. They're just going to be doing what you're asking them, and there are no external factors that are going to affect how reliable their actions are, and how could those issues drastically affect the not just the operation of the plant, but the safety of everyone in the plant. So it'll just be talking about how we can use Industry 4.0 technologies to be able to understand, have more deeper control over who works in the plants and their state of mind. Are they in the best shape to execute certain jobs? As we know, working in a plant can be, you have to be sharp, and you have to take the right decisions, and especially when you deal with operating the plant. So you need to have full control of, you need to know who's in their best state of mind, and who have been, sleeping very well or drinking enough water, or, you need to track those things, and so that if you see any problems, you can take action. Or if you have a job that, let's say, requires more attention, then you can actually see who's in the best state of mind that you can ask them to do that job, and therefore you avoid having any unwanted events. That's it. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, we're looking for that. And also you said about water. I'm sorry for short demo. I recently purchased the bottle, which are saying how much water I'm drinking. And right now it blinks me to drink some and to make a sip. I'll do it later. But no, those technologies are coming, and we're looking forward to hear from you how you use them or how they can be used. Also, I would like to introduce you, Hisham Abdullah, who is the head of SHE compliance at Aluminium Bahrain. Hisham, hello, how are you? Oh, the microphone.
Hi, Alexi, and hi to everyone joining us today. Thank you very much for joining this panel. Today, I'm going to present a very interesting topic, purely safety topic. I am not into tech much, but we will see how at the end we can see our organizations, if they are fit for Industry 4 or not, in terms of health and safety adaptation in those organizations. I'll leave it until here, and I'll go back to you, and I'll see you later in my session. Thank
you very much. Also today with us, Pavel Kozlov is director of the Performance Improvement Department in Rosatom Rosenergoatom, which is in Russia with the biggest and the only nuclear energy company. Pavel, hello. How are you? Can you tell a few words about yourself and your presentation?
Hello, everybody. Hi, Alexei. My name is Pavel Kozlov. I'm working at Rosatom. It's a Russian nuclear industry government corporation for over 15 years. And the last 2 years, I'm working at Rosenergoatom. This is a nuclear power plants operator. And approximately a year and a half, I drive a digital transformation program. It's a digital transformation program of personnel. That's a lot of interesting issues, a lot of interesting initiatives and big projects about digitalization that had a goal about safety and security. And most of them is about performance of personnel, about performance of people and exactly their workplaces. But digitalization open a lot of opportunities to increase safety and security of personnel. So nuclear power plants, it's a really high regulated and it's a lot of documentations, but the exactly health of people, exactly safety of people in focus of our minds. And today I'll tell you about our big projects, small initiatives, and recent activities in the field of digitalization about safety and security of personnel.
Thank you, Pavel. I think for nuclear industry, safety and security is something which is in the first place. Also today we'll have with us one more speaking. She will be connected very shortly. It is Muna Halfan Saif Al-Shidani. She's a team lead at for SAS, for Fourth Industrial Revolution at Ministry of Transportation, Communication and Information Technology in Oman. So we have very international speakers today, and right in a few minutes we are starting the presentations. I will disconnect the stuff to be ready for the speeches. By now, while Ilya is preparing for his speech, you will have a short pop-up questionnaire. Right now, it should be available on your screen in a few seconds. Yeah, exactly. This is some kind for us to better understand who are the participants, and for the speakers to better target their thoughts and their examples regarding on where and what industry you're from. And yeah, so while we're doing this this quiz, few more things. Now we have presentations. You will have an opportunity to ask something during the presentation, right after the presentation. After the presentation, I will ask some questions. Also, Ahmad will ask some thoughts from himself, or just make a question from the chat. So it will be a quick discussion. But in the end of the speeches, after all the PowerPoints and slides, we'll have like kind of the discussion all together, and you can be participating in this discussion by your questions as well. So let us be ready for the speech. Ilya, are you ready? Is it okay? I asked my colleagues to show the slides. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, let's wait for slides.
Okay, I can ask my colleagues to show the results of the questionnaire, and we will start. Oh. IT and consulting are the leading industry participating right now. Around 50% people are from this area. And the main point of interest is new tech and tools of monitoring employees' health. That's exactly what we are going to talk about. Thank you, Maraj. Ilya, it's your time. Sorry for making a few minutes from you. Just feel free to start.
Thanks so much. It seems that here we have a lot of companies from IT who wants to understand what is health and safety in the industry. So, preparing for today's presentation, while we are waiting for the slides, I would love to start not from the exact business case that I'm going to show and explain. So I'm going to start from my personal story, when I experienced industrial safety. This is a beautiful town located in Moscow region. Sorry, I think there is some lag on the slides. Okay. This is a small town where I was born. And 20 years ago, when I was at school, I had industry safety trainings of how to evacuate if in this industrial factory something happened. It's a chemical company and it's quite dangerous place. And from those days, what I understood that safety protection of people and protection of the environment across the factory is the main thing of any manufacturing. So go back to our business case. Let me introduce Uralchem. Uralchem is one of the biggest chemical company in Russia, which produce about more than 80 items of mineral fertilizers and other chemical products. They have about 4 factories across Russia and more than 9,000 employees. So our story with Uralchem started 1 year ago when we had a meeting with the head of electrical power supply, chief electrical engineer, and we were discussing safety issues that they are facing. I will explain why we had exact meeting with this exact person, head of electrical engineering. So I will tell the idea. Every industry, every factory, it supplied by electricity. It requires a lot of electricity. And any factory like chemical company, it requires medium voltage equipment and medium voltage electricity. So, and there are substations in the factory which supply all the equipment, all the production lines. And I would say that this substation is the heart of any industrial enterprise. If something happens there, if something stops, it will stop all the production and it will stop all the manufacturing. So and there will be lost profit. That's why problems of safety and issues that they are facing in electrical substations, they're quite main, almost main in this factory. So in this plant in Perm, there are 6 substations which supply all the production lines. 20 electricians, they operate all these 6 substations. And a few facts about these electricians. To become an experienced person who can work independently in this with this electrical equipment, with switch gears, which are really dangerous equipment. I mean, you can be injured by operating it. You need to spend 5 years of internship to become an experienced person. You need to work in the company 5 years. So 3 years you need to work as a repair engineer in repair and maintenance department. So 2 years you need to learn how the equipment works, what this structure, how to disassemble and assemble it. After these 3 years, you need to go to, if you want to work as an operational electrician, to do switching, you need to prepare yourself before the assessment during 1 year. And after the assessment, you have a permission to go to the electrical substation. You need to spend from half a year to the year to work. It's called double work. You have like experienced person who follow you almost half a year to the year. And after 5 years, you can become an experienced person who can do switching by yourself. And the idea is that why it's so long? Because the equipment is working 24 hours, 7 days. There is only one time a year or 2 years when there is planned downtime for repair and maintenance. Whole factory, entire factory is stopped, and there is a week to disassemble equipment, to shut down, to do maintenance and repair. So, as we can understand, this is not the time for learning. This is time for working hard to accelerate the process and to launch the manufacturing again. So, discussing with chief electrical engineer, we were faced by these challenges. So, first sentence will explain the whole problem of the whole problem that we try to solve. It's almost impossible to practice your skills during the equipment is working, during the equipment is operating. So that's why these people, they have long adoption time for independent work. And administration, they have uncomfortable situation. They cannot control level of skills, and they don't know what the level of exact electrician, and is it possible to I don't know, to let him go and do independent work. So they are worrying about the level of their skills every time. That's why they have uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable. And fourth is for okay, we need to adopt people. We need to train them. We need to practice their skills. What can we do? We can buy physical training equipment and to practice there. But physical equipment has two things. It's quite costly to buy it and to use it, and doesn't allow to practice whole process of shutting down and launching. So I work in technology company. To be honest, I love technology, but more I like when technologies meets clients' requirements, clients' needs. So that's why in this exact case, virtual reality simulator meets to these challenges and these requirements. That's why we started designing this virtual reality simulator and working on the digitalization of the electrical substation. Okay, so creation of the VR simulator starts from the observing all the environment and equipment, from survey of the on the environment, and creating 3D digital model, which which the same that exact workplace of the electricians. All the equipment, all the switch gears inside and outside, the same that they have in the factory. So then we add functions, step-by-step instructions, interactions, and electricians can do the same things that they must do in real life. So then we have equipment which help electrician to be immersed to the virtual environment and feel that they are inside the substation. So there are many steps. To be honest, to complete this training simulator, you will need to take 3 more hours to complete 2 parts, shutting down all the bus line and launching again this bus line. So many steps, about 900 steps to be done to complete this training. And can you imagine, before this training, you needed to remember all the steps by using, I don't know, documentation, and by seeing just what your colleagues do, not trying. So as you can see, all the equipment, all the details are modeled, and electrician can go step by step. And there is administration panel. This is really essential feature that can collect all the data and record video to control how electricians passes this training simulator. This is really essential thing for administration and for chief electrical engineer to control the growth of the electricians, how they practice. To be honest, when we started researching technologies, it was many years ago, I thought that industry like manufacturing companies, it's quite conservative industry, and two innovative products like virtual reality technologies can be difficult to adopt it and can be protected for implementation by experienced people, by conservative people. And I will show you a small video now. Sorry for that, it's in Russian, but there are subtitles to understand the reaction of the electrician, which has more than 20 years of experience working on the substation. And his reaction is just right after the testing of the training. Yeah, he focused on that you cannot practice the skills, and now he is shocked that before this tool he couldn't go and practice just anytime you want. So the idea is training simulator allows newcomers to train yourself to practice your skills and not be afraid to use real equipment, because there is a problem. People are really afraid to use the equipment, real one. So let's go back to the challenges and just to understand. training is impossible in existing equipment. Now we provided the solution that you can use every day, anytime. Don't need to touch real equipment. Long adoption time. So of course, if we train skills more, it will decrease adoption time. But we need to check. We need to wait for it. So impossible to control level skills. Now we have administration tool and we have notifications to email to the administration how people use this training, how their skills are growing. And comparing to physical equipment, development is much less expensive, and it's more capable for scaling, because this project we've done, it's only one of 12 all scope is needed for this factory. So we need to scale this to cover all the requirements for electrical engineers. So coming to conclusion, I can say one thing. So to say that virtual reality simulator is efficient, I think you could see a lot of information in media, in marketing, that many percent of efficiency, but seeing is not believing. There is a quote. I think believing is trying, testing, and collecting feedback. So after we implemented this training solution, we are collecting this data, feedback from final user, to understand how it's useful in terms of user experience from the final user. From electricians, we need to understand that they are not IT people. They are people who are operating the electrical equipment high voltage. So we need to know, is it useful for them or not? So residual knowledge and knowledge itself, is it does these two work to practice their skills? And the error rate, this is not about knowledge and practicing. This is the result of the practicing, which affects on business at all. So we're collecting all this data, and first cut will be in the end of the year, and the second cut will be in the half of the year. And then we can say how the efficient this tool or not. So I'm quite close to the end, and before the end, before we will discuss all the things, may I ask you the question? People who are from manufacturing companies, from oil and gas, energy, and so on, do have similar challenges and similar tasks to solve, or you are solving these tasks and challenges by another way? You can comment in the chat, or to answer this question in the questions and answers. It would be great to discuss. Thanks so much for your attention. Feel free to ask me any question. We have a few minutes to discuss. It would be great if you ask me something. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilya, for your real case presentation. Yeah, while we have a few minutes to discuss it, obviously. Ahmad, you can also be connected with the video and ask your question or say your thoughts about the presentation. But by now, I want to mention some comment from the chat. Dmitry made a wisdom, like you heard and you forget, you see and you remember, you do and you understand. This is some kind of corresponding to what you've been showing us on practice. And also, we have a question from Mohammed. From Mohammed. Excuse me for wrong spelling. How long does it take to develop such simulation program for heavy industry per process?
Of course, it depends on scope of work. This type of simulator for one substation, we, of course, because of Corona and problem with communications, it took about 6 to 7 months from the start, from collecting all the data to the implementation to the facility. So if we, for example, talk about extension of this project to another equipment, I mean electrical equipment, but another voltage, it will take less time because the all functions already developed, and it will take only like customization for the equipment. So, but usually this type of project starts from half a year to 1 year. So it's quite great job to be done because it's development. But let me add more. So it can look that it's too challenging, it's quite difficult, but it's worth it because it's almost impossible to come to the shop or to the store and buy the ready-made solution for your equipment, your exact factory, your exact tasks. So that's why development is needed, and we already passed this way with many companies, and it's time to start if you're not if you haven't started. So okay, it will take time. It will take time for collecting data and testing, but still the result will be really useful.
Ilya, I have a question from myself as well to complement this question. If you have a already done project, so you have this model, you have started the education, and then you have slight changes because the time is changing, the threats are changing. How long do you need to adapt this course, or it is stable, you do it one time and works, and next time you need to do another course, or you can use some kind of platform and do modifications?
Of course, to develop this type of training, we use platform for, this is not like two really customized solutions. So it's quite adoptable and scalable solutions, which can be added or changed. So if we like do it already fixed solution, of course, it's impossible because in some years, something will change in this electrical substation. So we will need to change it. That's why it's possible, of course, but it depends who will do it. If clients, if industrial company wants to do it by themselves, I mean, using their own resources, maybe IT division, it's one question. Another question, if it's service from the company like we do, we can do it very fast and very easy. So if a company wants to do it by themselves, so it takes time to like get this knowledge and experience to develop this kind of solution.
Ahmad, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, there's this Mohammed saying that it's good idea, and as an electrician, he says it's like what he saw, and it can be extended to other things in our industry. I think, yeah, this is it can expand to other industries, especially when it comes to training. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole industry where the cost of the mistake is very high, it is reasonable to create some kind of the model where the mistake is not leading to somebody's death or injuring or something. And I've seen so many videos on YouTube regarding the electricians who made a mistake, I mean like productive station and the electricians, and this is horrible what can happen. So better to test it online.
Yeah, of course, this is not the solution that that's only about economical effect. Of course, this is about business effect in the future, because safety and possible accidents and possible like injuries, you cannot understand when it's happening, what the reason will be. And now, if we have this type of solution, we are trying to decrease risks of mistakes made by people. So,
Okay, thank you very much for this speech. This was very interesting idea and also the practical implementation. Feel free to share your LinkedIn account, for example, in the chat if somebody will like to connect to you, or you can still be with the people chatting. If you have any questions, you can use the chat right now to communicate with Ilya. And also applause for you. I'm dropping it in the chat as well here.
thanks so much.
Yeah, and now we're leading to the next speaker. So Hisham, are you with us? You're in the next speech. Right now the presentation will be on the screen. Please connect. I asked my colleagues to share the presentation. Yeah, it's here. So it's your time. Thank you for participating. We're listening to you.
Thank you, Alexei. Just trying to control the presentation.
Yeah, just click and wait for a few seconds, because the connection can take a while, or use the buttons like next and previous. This might be slightly convenient. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I got it. So let's start, Alexei. Thank you very much, Alexei.
Thank you.
Since the early ages of our existence, the fixation and obsession of the human being have been centered on a lot of fundamental features, human features, that catered for what we are today. Two of those fundamental features are attributed to the love of curiosity and the fantasy of movement. We make no mistake that a lot of our learnings have arrived from trial and error. We also make no mistake to assert that safety is all about control of movement. My name is Hisham Alawi, and I'll be working with you now in order to take you through a journey of occupational health and safety in the Industry 4.0 era. I'll give you a personal disclaimer before we start, and consider it as a warning for your surrounding. If you are watching this through your screens in your office or watching this through your mobile phones, please be vigilant of the area that you are in. Because you are putting the headset, you might not be aware of some emergencies that are around you. So be safe wherever you are. We wandered the earth to explore the beauty of the world. We understood that many phenomena and things that are going around us using everything that's surrounding us. Simplicity, speed, agility shaped our aspiration when we are taming our other creatures to serve us. Nevertheless, we faced challenges beyond what we used to call land, and we conquered the seas. We did not stop and started the engine of discoveries, reaching up the sky and finally beyond. Today, all of those stories and banquets are on a click of button on your mouse. Do you want to touch the waters from Niagara Falls? Do you want to visit the pyramids in Egypt? Do you want to drive with no driving license? Do you want to drive a plane without a pilot license? With Industry 4.0, yes, we can. So today I'll be taking you through a journey of history of Industry 4.0, safety legacy, and basically we'll stay a bit in the safety legacy because we need to understand where we were in the past and where we arrived today and where we are heading in the future. We'll be talking about the health and safety literature. I have picked two important literatures in order to discuss with you. We'll be seeing the risks and opportunities of 4.0, and finally I'll give you the conclusion of it. Now, if you see this diagram, it starts in 1784, where Industry 1.0 started. It's all about the steam engine where they started, steam power, waving looms, and machineries. Later on, we went through 1870, where we had the mass production. And maybe this period is very famous for Ford cars that was invented at that time, and it was produced in very mass production. We moved very fast forward from 1870 to 1969, where there was a significant discovery at that time, a small microchip and semiconductors that phased out everything that we know manually and brought computers into life to control the automation of our operations. 2011, for some research, is the start of Industry 4.0. And it started also in a place called Germany, where the industry often starts in. So at that time, they have taken all the automation and tried to interconnect it. And there is three themes for the Industry 4.0 from this perspective. It is autonomy, interoperability, and sustainability. Germany have produced the German Standardization Roadmap Industry 4.0, the version number 4 recently, and they have produced the version number 1 in 2014. And you can see that all the products that they are adopting now are made and designed in order to fulfill the Industry 4.0 components. But how did we arrive here? In 1802, there was an explosive manufacturing company, a well-known, a chemical industry. In this industry, because it was a very dangerous industry, because of the explosives, of course, they have adopted their own safety measures. The first safety measure they have adopted is building 3 walls mill, only 3. The 4th one was wooden made. And the ceiling as well was wood. And this was the first safety, let me say, safety feature that is in the plant. In case of an explosion, the walls will not burst. Only the wooden wall will burst and it will fall into the river. So it was a kind of a safety tool to use. The same company have adopted in 1811 the first principle of safety. Safety relies on the management, or safety lies on the management shoulder. So all accidents, all injuries are the responsibility of the management of the organization, beat it or not. And in 1811, the first major injury happened in this company, and it involved one of the founders of the organization. And since then, this organization became more vigilant in health and safety, and until today, they are the best company as a role model for health and safety. This was not agreed by Heinrich in 1932, where he came up with a theory stating that 88% of the accidents are unsafe acts. And now if you saw the presentation that is before me, what happens over there, it was the control of the action of the people and changing of behavior through simulators instead of doing it on the field. 10% of the responsibilities of accidents lays on the unsafe condition, and 2% of that have been attributed to act of God. And this was the Heinrich triangle, as you can see. Not many people have agreed with Heinrich. One of them was the famous Edward Deming, who invented the quality management system as we know it today, the PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. And in his thoughts, saying that it is not attributed to human behavior. In short, it is attributed to the management systems. And he shifted the responsibility from being for the employees into the management side once again, as the company was stating earlier. If you are a safety professional and you want to know when the safety have started, actually what we see today, it started in 1966 with this tragedy that happened in Wales in the UK. Aberfan is a very well-known tragedy that changed and shaped safety as we know it today. From this injury, many people died, and especially students and teachers, because there was a landslide from the cone at the top of the mountain coming down below to the school and submerging the whole school and killing all the population that were around it. It was a tragedy that was shaping the safety as we know it today in the UK even. Frank Bird is another person who came and studied all the health and safety aspects and brought a theory that made the fundamental aspect of today's Industry 4. You can see dominoes over here. How come they are today the attributes of Industry 4? Because he have put all the elements of an accident that you need to overlook in order to produce a safe and reliable manufacturing, tools, machinery, and what have you. Lord Robbins, he was the godfather of the legislation of Health and Safety at Work Act. And by the way, he was the lead investigator in the Aberfan tragedy. So after the Aberfan, they have assigned the Lord Robbins to look into this investigation, and he have finished the investigation and came up with the Health and Safety at Work Act as we know it today. And since then, it have never been changed or amended for the law that are there in the UK or around the world. The last one is the ISO, where we can see today that all our elements in the industry are driven by ISO standards, regulations, and what have you. Fast forward the literature, I can see here that we have a Susanna from Slovakia. She have put a very nice literature. I advise you later on to go and read it. But the highlighted part of it is that safety defines the condition of human protection against the influence of machine. You can see now there is an interaction between man and machine, or human and machine, because we have women as well and machine. It cannot be assumed that there are fewer risks in any company with a lower level of digitization. So if you introduce digitization, you don't assume that you will have a fewer risk. And say it or not, that by digitization, you will make people disengage from the workplace a bit, and then you will be having normally a lesser interaction between man and human and machine, and hence you will have more control of movement, as we stated in the beginning. The other literature is about risk and how we define risk in Industry 4. It's not the conventional risk that we know about, because we have less people surrounding machines, and we have people in controlled environment like simulators, XR, IR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, trained over there and brought into the real world later on, where they are having a perception about risk that they have trained on. So this piece of paper is always talking about sustainability as well. Taking you to the slide before the end, I am going to elaborate over here the risks and opportunities. What we are expecting from the introduction of Industry 4.0, how it will shape health and safety around us. The first thing is that the health and safety legislation. Remember when we have introduced the digital evidences at a certain time, it was so difficult to bring it to the court and show it to the court and have it as a legitimate and objective evidence in front of the court. Today, these items have been now improved, and now you can bring digital evidences like emails, pictures, videos into the court as evidences, where before at the start it was very difficult to bring it because of the shape of the legislation. Think about mediation and arbitration, how it will be coming in the world of virtual reality or augmentation. Think about the local and international laws and regulations, how they are going to feature or how they are going to shape the workplaces. For example, if we are training today here in Bahrain and the training is provided in India, how, if things went wrong in this training, where I am going to file a case, for example? Is it in Bahrain or is it in India, for the example? How I am going to litigate with the company? Is it on Bahrain laws or on India laws? And what have you? Maybe before Industry 4.0, outsourcing was one of the business fundamental, let me say, arena that you can go for. You will take your business, take it to another company, which is not inexpensive workforce, more resources over there, do the product, bring it back. In Industry 4, it allows you to have the same concept, but without outsourcing internally, but with external control. Now, if you talk about safety, you will govern it or you will link it and associate it with always security. And you will find that security is a part and partial of Industry 4.0. Safety leadership. It is very important to have a dedicated and committed leadership to safety, whether they like the Industry 4 or they don't like. Because with Industry 4, leadership will be governing the machine, not the people at most times. You need to have safety leadership in order to prioritize the category of business and not prioritize safety. Safety should not be a priority for those leaders and organizations. Safety should be a value. When you say priority as a safety, you can change it from one time and another. It can be first, it can be second, it can be last, according to the business flow. But if you have it as a value, it will remain in your agenda, in your concept, in your DNA of business. And this is what you want the leadership to head for. Capacity and training building, or capacity building and training. And this is where the simulators, XR, IR, and VR comes in. A very good example of that, or unfortunate example for that, is what happened to the unfortunate and devastating 737 MAX, which was a state-of-the-art airplane that fell from the sky because of training on the system, which is called the MCAS, Maneuvering Characteristics Augmented Systems, very long for a very well-controlled system that depended on how the pilots will be trained on it. 2 hours training on an iPad, and this is all what you need to know about the new airplane, and then you can fly it. This was the mistake of the company, where they did not handle the capacity building and training properly. Return on investment, and for a safety professional, this should be a very, very challenging topic. How can you convince the management that investing in safety has a return? Because mainly in safety, you will not have a return. You will have safe people, no fatalities, a good reputation, which cannot be monetary gauged. And guess what? What does the people in the business want? They want monetary outcome. And these things are intangible. And the quantification of this aspect is very difficult to give. Until today, many research they want to attribute the cost to safety and return on investment, and yet we don't know exactly how to do that with the tools that we have today. Going forward to the organization politics versus safety, here with Industry 4, politics and organization politics will change. But if you enter politics into safety, you will either have politics or safety. We need to consider here the awarding scheme and how we are driving safety in the organization. Is it politics, or is it really safety? Is it punishing people or rewarding people, or is it the safety of people at the other hand? The organization need to just decide on that, and Industry 4.0 need to help us to adopt this approach of safety, not politics. The last one is anthropology. And whether you like it or not, in safety, I hate the word behavior. I hate the word value. I hate the word attitude. I hate the word habits. I hate the word feelings. All of these are catering for one word, and it is called anthropology. We need to understand anthropology. And whether we like it or not, even if we have simulators and we have augmented reality trainings, we need to understand how people will think and how people will react with each other and how they will react with machines. And anthropology science is the place that you will understand how people will cope with Industry 4.0 in the future. For the last slide over here, in conclusion, while Industry 4 is well defined in the literature, still Safety 4.0, let me say, is yet to be intellectually defined. We need more research, and I encourage anybody in the safety field like myself and others to indulge into Safety 4.0, which is yet in the infant stage. In Industry 4, designers incorporated and amalgamated safety in the technology itself. And this is very, very interesting topic, because right now with Industry 4.0, we will not have lagging indicators, because all of the elements of risk assessment and the domino, as we have stated earlier, will be part and parcel of the program and design of the machines. And hence, we don't need the intervention of humans in the terms of working, not in the terms of design or fixing. The next challenge is building alliance between safety practitioners, technology designers. We don't need any more safety guys. We need safety guys plus business guys plus IT guys. All of these combined together will give us where we are heading in the future with Industry 4.0. And we need, as a safety practitioners, to understand the aspects of the business, to understand the mindset of the management of the organization, and we need to understand the mindset of the people that are developing programs for the machines. The last one, but not least, is the dilemma of the concept, environment dictates behavior. We don't know yet, even after the inception or the widespread of Industry 4.0, how people will behave, because environment dictates behavior. It's upon the environment that we'll be working in is our behavior. And as I said to you, that I hate the word behavior and I hate the other words that are over there, we will understand the anthropology and we will see the changes in the anthropology of humankind in the workplaces. By these remarks, I have one question. Are we fit for Safety 4.0? Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much for such a scientific presentation with all those views and like high level thoughts about anthropology. To my mind, this is exactly the subject. To be honest, on some of my projects, I involve psychologists into technology project, because inventing some $1 billion system is not enough. You need to be sure that people like get into it, it's fit into their process and culture and understanding. We ask everybody for the questions if you have something to ask.
Hey, Hisham.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit about,
Can you make
you mentioned about,
can you make it an easy question, please?
yeah, of course. No, health and safety, yeah, like you mentioned, since 1966, the incident happened, and as you says, health and safety. With COVID-19 global pandemic, how, when you mentioned the fourth one, environmental dictates behavior. So how about health? With increased rate, how would this health mental issue could be embedded with this 4.0?
To have a short answer for this, still scientists and researchers in this health and safety field are still researching the impact of this change, the COVID-19 change. And I'm not calling it COVID-19 change. It has been a change in business, change in our social life. And basically, we are currently using a very one vaccine only for COVID-19 right now, which is the social vaccine, let me call it, which is
yes.
Distancing from each other, wearing the mask, and speaking virtually to people, like what we are doing now. This is one of the changes. This is supposed to be in an arena where we are having people sitting next to us, touching each other, saying hi to each other, clapping, listening to the clapping. This has put a huge impact and stress on the health. If you see the literatures from the UK right now, there are studies going on for this aspect, that the health aspect of it. How can we not only return back to our norms or normal life, how to take the impact, the psychological impact that it will remain with people for some long time and can produce devastating results like anxiety, depression, that will take you ahead to suicide for people that are much vulnerable or weak. you know, you can only wait, or you can indulge into some research that are done at the moment in order to understand how can we combat that. Giving you that only in 2009, stress itself became a legitimate health and safety hazard, let me say. So, because we did not know what is the impact of stress, or management and other scientists were not convinced that stress can play a role in the workplace health and safety. But later on, they have seen the impact of that. And now you can see that it has been embedded and nobody's talking about it. Like the mobile phone, for example. Many accidents happen in the past because of driving and using the mobile phone. Today, those accidents have dropped because the people have got used to it, driving and using the mobile. I'm not saying the risk has been abolished. I'm just saying that human beings are accustomed to what they are indulging in their environment, and then they are adapting somewhere or another. Whom are not adapting are the people that we need to see and seek, because those are the people that are vulnerable for acute or chronic health diseases in the future. And this is our role right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Hisham. Thank you, Hisham. The social vaccine is a really good term. We both mentioned it, and also, of course, we are facing every second we are facing the adaptation of the people. The last question for you, that might be hard but very interesting and practical. When you making the return of the investment statement or something like that, of course, there is that. It's not a question that safety is important, but it's important how much it's important, how much you should spend. You get a budget, and of course you're doing some ROI study. What figures you're using in that? What costs are the basement of these calculations?
If you ask any specialist, safety specialist, what is the return on investment on this question, return on investment of health and safety? They'll tell you the reputation of the company. They will tell you have people that are safe. They'll tell you that your work environment will be, the moral of the people will be better, and you will be more productive. To be frank, all of these are good, but they are not convincing a businessman. If you have a business that is run by 3 billion, and you'll tell me that I will stop a fatality that will cost me, for example, 30 couple of thousands, the businessman will not think about it as a foreseeable risk. You'll think about it, okay, I can get more in one day than this, so it's fine. And this is, you can see this even in big projects, by the way, that they will expect that they will have, for example, 2 fatalities or 3 fatalities in certain projects, which is bad, but they will not say it, but they will be having this. There is no tangible amount that you can put on health and safety. Life of people matters. This is it, but I cannot tell you how much, and no one can tell you how much. There is no tools right now that we have that will take, if you put like $10 in the equation and you produce health and safety environment, you'll get $20 of that. What you will get is intangible benefits. You will see your people, you will see your colleagues every day, you will find families that are not devastated because of fatality or injuries, or people that are not having life-changing injuries working with you and producing for you. And if you go, I have tried to do some research in many other companies and see the productivity and health and safety. I didn't see any correlation. I saw some organizations that have a devastating health and safety records, but they have no fatalities. And I have seen a very good and very strict rules in health and safety in some organizations, but they have a lot of fatalities.
I got your point. Very interesting point. And also I will add that reputation will be tangible very soon, because right now the reputation could be the most valuable factor, even like for some business people, even more than somebody's lives, unfortunately, but it's a factor. Thank you.
I'm just talking in the terms of science. So people's lives matter, of course. And
absolutely agree.
Of the management as well.
Yeah,
absolutely agree.
And that's why there's a saying that said, one fatality is one too many. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let's switch to the next.
But how much,
sorry.
Ahmed? But how much?
Yeah. That's where this safety is a value. See? Yeah.
Okay, great, cool. Let's switch to the next speaker. Now we're switching to Saudi Arabia. Ahmad, are you here with us? We're switching to you. This is your time now. Presentation will be on the screen. Yeah, it is.
Yes. So, thanks to everyone. Again, thanks to digital leaders. Thanks to everyone who gave me this opportunity. I hope this is my first and it won't be my last. And due to the short amount of time that I had to prepare, I just selected the subject. So hopefully in the future, maybe we'll be as colorful as everybody else. So let's see.
Okay, you can start.
Okay, can I start my presentation where all right. Oh, there's a bit of a delay, I see. So, so basically here, the objective of this presentation, short presentation, is to identify selected safety concerns and propose solutions utilizing Industrial Revolution 4.0. Now, let me just highlight one important thing. There's an issue here, which I would like to also mention, because when we say Industrial Revolution 4.0, then this is, you're opening a can of worms. There's so many things. And now the problem is everybody's jumping on this wagon and they want to claim that whatever products they have will solve a problem or will add a value. Now, the only point here that I'm trying to make is you should not look at those solutions to solve. I mean, you should not look at those solutions and then match them with your problems, but rather you should look at your problems and then look in all of those solutions to see which one of those can solve your problem. So it's the other way around. This is the only subject I wanted to highlight. So in order for us to go anywhere, we need to know where we are. And the current reality is operators, and I'm talking here only about operators, because those brave gentlemen and gentlewomen, as we will see in the, hopefully, and as we are actually seeing in the Middle East, is their performance, their safety, their is of the most concern to us, and therefore they're not machines. Most people sometimes, when we deal with operators, we think of systems, so control systems. We buy the best control systems, but we don't think that those control systems are operated by people, by humans. And those humans are, in my opinion, they are the weakest link. So they are not machines. Health and mental readiness are not monitored, as I said, because we always assume every day, day in, day out, that those guys are coming into work with enough sleep, enough concentration, dehydration level, beats, exhaustion, I don't know, hormones, you name it, activity levels. Maybe somebody had to work the night before in a long shift or something and they're beat. So they may require, so by monitoring all of those, we can add value. So those are the problems. And also sometimes someone might be doing a job, let's say at the job site, and they may require some help. However, because they know everybody else is busy everywhere else, as you can see in the picture, this guy is busy doing something, right? So he may at any certain point may have a question in his mind as, is this really how I should do it? Or maybe, is that the right way to do it? And no one is monitoring what he's doing. And in this case, if we utilize some of the IR 4.0, it might be very helpful to have someone watch him. Now, last but not least, the small error of an operator could have safety or financial impact. And this is addressing what Abdullah, I think, was saying earlier, is that you can't quantify, okay, if a certain event were to happen, you cannot quantify the consequences or have a clear idea of how much you will lose before anything else. So But we know for sure that if that operator did something which impacted the operation of that facility, for example, it causes shutdown to the plant, then two things might happen here. You have a safety impact or a safety issue, because then you have to start the plant again. And then we know that most of the problems happen when we start the plants. And as well as financial impact, because now you're not producing whatever you're producing, your throughput went to zero, you may need 8 hours to get back. Okay, so now we understood what the current reality is. What are some of the solutions that we can look at that we, or I would say in the oil and gas, would think would have a huge impact on addressing those issues that I talked about earlier? So you need, I would say you need KPIs. You need to have some certain KPIs that you look at. So KPIs, we all know when we say KPIs, we look at production, we look at maybe the health of our equipment, we look at, so many things except the human factor. We never ever say, let's look at the KPIs of humans. Are they okay? Can we have a dashboard that shows, who's in the best, mental state? Again, I say mental, it's not like crazy, but their beats, their heartbeats are regular because they're not worried, or they're not, I don't know, they're not stressed, I should say. So operator health KPIs should be monitored, and those normally are monitored using the wearable systems. Now, when I say wearables, there are so many things that you can use to monitor the health or. So for example, you may, for example, the H2S monitor. We all know that operators carry with them H2S monitors to allow them to know how much H2S is, concentration at any location. But it would it would be more prudent also to not just rely on the H2S monitor, but rely on other KPI factors to tell whoever is monitoring the process in the control room, be it the board man, they would know exactly where this guy is, because they would see on a bigger screen the location. They will see whether they're moving or just stagnant. And if they're stagnant, it could be that they were maybe they just fell and they need some help, and the H2S monitor wasn't reading properly. So that might add again or augment whatever they have. So also, when you monitor their performance, even if they're in the best shape or form and whatever, whoever, let's say I'm the supervisor and I need to assign a job to one of these guys who are on my screen, and I would assign it to the one with the least or with the best KPIs. So for example, might look at their heartbeats, I may look at their dehydration rate, and I would see who is in the best mental state, and I would choose that person to do that specific job, for example. That's what I said, critical jobs assigned based on KPIs. That's one way to look at it. And to lower, all we're doing here is we're reducing the chances of something happening, right? And we're monitoring those human beings. Monitoring for the sake of operators' health, not for breaching privacy. And this is where we have some issues. I've looked at some reports, and this is one of the problems. This is one of the issues that they keep mentioning, that there's always a limit as to how much you're monitoring. Because if you keep monitoring people's or operators' health, dehydration rate, beats, you can infer from those that this guy didn't have enough sleep. And then what are you going to do? You're going to talk to them and say, hey, you need to go to bed early. And now you're getting into their business. And this is where the debate is happening. However, it's just something that I wanted to mention for people to just be aware of. Last but not least, and I wish I provided some AR, VR, because we've actually used some of these technologies from some of the renowned manufacturers, and we have, I believe 2 years ago, we have deployed one of these solutions for a small steam turbine, where we actually, just like I think it was Mr. who was the guy? Semenov, yeah, Ilya Semenov. I've seen what he was doing with the electrical substation. We've had similar thing like that, but it wasn't on electrical, it was on the turbine. And we were able to have a 3D model of a turbine. And for the sake of basically allowing people to be trained to know how they're going to operate this machine, the parts. You don't have to wait until they open the parts, because normally they only open them, I don't know, every 5 years. And now you can open, you can ask, especially the trainees to play as much as they want. That's one. The other thing is the AR VR, which I meant here also, is the helmet. If you look at the helmet over there, it's augmented with a camera, with a screen. That device, most people, and let me just highlight an important point here. Most people, when they look at that helmet, what comes to their mind is remote assistance. I'm going to use that helmet so that if I go anywhere in the plant and I need someone to help me, I can dial in to wherever the guy is, maybe in Germany, in Russia. I don't care where they are. I can connect to them remotely, and they can see whatever I'm seeing, and they can provide some help. Now, that's not what I actually want, or I see it to actually be used. That's not the great use, because we all know we can use our phones to do the same thing. All right. That's not the point. The point here is I can actually do two things. I can access from that camera, from that computer. I can go back to my desktop, wherever I am in my control room, and I can pull data so that I'm not guessing. I have some information in front of me. So if I need to fix something and I need to look at a drawing, I can bring the drawing on that screen that you look at. The other thing is I can connect it remotely. I can connect that computer with any equipment, and it would scan that equipment, and I would have all the details that I need. I would also, if I am in doubt and I need someone to help me, of course, I will connect to the board man, for example. I would say, hey, listen, I'm doing this like that operator on the previous page. I'm doing these things and I have a question. Is this how I should do it, or is that how I should do it? And they'll tell you right then and there, and then you can save that, as a video that you might want to go to again. So with that, I conclude. It's very quick and sweet. And before I forget, actually, there's the look at the phone, and I've just put a picture of a rest hand, one of these bands. And those bands are what I've seen some industries actually use them to collect data from your heartbeat. It's like your Apple Watch, just collect all that data, your heartbeat, your dehydration rate, and you can connect that back into your backbone, and then allow your supervisor to monitor you. With that, I conclude, and I hope this is short and sweet. And if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and ask your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. That was very, very practically oriented. So now we have a set of tools can be used at any company, actually. But you mentioned in the end that like kind of Apple Watch and other devices. I showed you my bottle, which tracking my hydration. And what do you think about this trend that some of those technologies are going first of all to consumer market, and then they're being adapted to the companies? So I can see right now consumer market is a bit far away in this medical gadgets rather than companies. I mean, in general, the worldwide.
I think that's good. That's good. That's actually going to the consumer market so they can use them, and we can see which one is more reliable, what are the issues with those, and. But we all know that the adoption into the oil and gas or wherever in the business takes time, right? So if a gadget goes into like that helmet I've seen probably for the past 3-4 years, and I haven't seen people actually using it on a 24/7, because again, it has a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues. You're wearing your helmet. It has all of these things. and the adoption rate of people, of humans, it takes time. The technology is not yet at that level. There are people who are afraid because of the cybersecurity, as you know, because you're accessing data and you're sending those data on the Wi-Fi. There are issues, again, I just mentioned Wi-Fi, industrial Wi-Fi. Who has actually, we can ask that question, who has Wi-Fi in their plants, covering the whole entire plants? That's another project which will cost you millions and millions of dollars in order to install that industrial wireless system. So it's not as easy as it might look, okay?
Yeah, I'm totally agreed that it's that consumer market can test it for you and also give the reasonable price, because previously, before Apple Watch, like my company offered those wearable devices, and it was very expensive for the customer at the beginning because it was something new. And the second thing is the culture stuff. They were afraid of wearing something because they never done it real life, and then they thinking that being tracked like something.
Right, I agree. That's a good point.
And yes, what you said, Hamad, is yes. This Capgemini Research Institute, has confirmed that 82% of companies currently implementing AR, VR has the benefit of either meeting or exceeding their expectations. So I think this is the way forward in the oil and gas industry, in any other industries that that need to take care of the health and safety of their people. Yeah.
Again, I failed to mention, I failed to mention one important point, which is, since I've seen the most of the people here, or at least the participants, they're from the IT business. So if I had to tell or say something to the IT business, maybe which might help them, is I always notice that there's the link between IT and operation, or let's say OT, it still hasn't been bridged. So meaning the IT people, they're living in their own world and they make these gadgets and they think those gadgets are excellent. And they don't understand that in the oil and gas, the people who are going to use those gadgets, they have a different way of thinking, and they have a totally different way of operating. You have to understand the business first. You have to understand what they want. You have to understand why, and then you go and you design something. And it's not the other way around. Most of the people, they go and they design things and they say, oh, we think this can solve that problem. But then they don't understand that there may be, like, for example, those guys who are making those, I don't know, those gadgets, the watches, for example. They don't understand, for example, okay, they'll go and make a watch, but then it's just an example, they may not design it to be used in a classified area because they don't understand. What do you mean by classified area? You can't use that phone or you can't use that gadget inside the plant because it's an ignition source. It can cause an explosion. They don't understand. They think they are operating in their house. So what I'm saying is you need to understand the business. You need to understand that the operators who are working in the plant are not as savvy as the IT people. The IT people are smart. They know how to use things. They know how to download things. Those guys in the plant are not as fully conversant. They're not going to sit there and worry about turning on and off. They don't have that time. They're under pressure, and they're thinking about how to operate this facility. They're thinking about closing and opening a valve, and they're not going to sit and say, okay, in order for me to use this gadget, I have to do something, and then I go and do my job. So I think there's still a disconnect between the two. And I think as we see every year, that gap is getting smaller and smaller until I think, the problem will resolve, hopefully, over time. Okay.
I see. Sorry. And this will go back to the first step you said about having a problem and a set of solutions. And you have to find that problem first and use whatever solution that suits to that can solve.
That's a great point, because whenever I go and watch these webinars, or whenever I open a technical report, you read and read and read, and then you see that that there's like, for example, let me give you an example. What is it? About the cloud. Yes, the cloud computing. When we talk about cloud computing, how many providers you know, like if I want to go out and buy or get into a company and get a product or cloud computing, how many companies do I have to look at? Thousands, right? There's so many companies. They'll make the same thing. How do I know which one to use? How do I mean, there's so many things now, to the point where if I want to choose between any of them, or if I want to go with this technology or that, I will be lost. So then we said, stop, figure out what problem you have first. And if you have a problem, make sure, yes, indeed, this is a problem. And then look at the solutions and then see which one of those solutions meet that or solve that problem, rather than looking at the technologies and seeing thousands of technologies. And then you might select one and use it when in reality you may not need it. Might just be a luxury, but not a necessity. Okay.
Ilya, you had something to add?
Yeah, Hamad, thank you so much. I absolutely agree with you about IT companies like we, well, like we are in the industrial companies, and sometimes we don't find the same language about the real processes, but we work a lot on it. And this use case that I mentioned in electrical equipment, I think it's one of the best cases that we found. Even we needed to take on board the guy from the electrical with the electrical background to complete the project. So, what do you think if technologies meets requirements from the real business, and there is the same language, and we understand the business, for example, from industry, is what the best way to connect these exact people to find the interest from them if we have a product for them? I mean, sometimes it's too difficult because they are operating their business. They close their eyes. I mean, for something innovative, they work, I don't know, in a field, in a manufacturer. What the best way to find them?
Well, for sure. That's a great question, actually. I would say the best way to do it is first thing is I would find a book that talks, and I'm sure there are, I can't remember the name of this book, but there are books that talks about the incidents that happen as a result, for example, of misusing or not being able to operate a substation. For example, when they rack in and they rack out those breakers. Sometimes there are flashes, right? Flashes, and then you burn yourself, or sometimes some people die. So I would say you need to educate, you need to understand, you need to find out what are the problems that most people have when they deal with those inside the substations. And for that, I would say go. My understanding is oil and gas. These conventions, we used to attend those conventions, and they talk about, all these oil and gas people would attend, and then that's your venue. Is when you meet with them in those conventions, you can talk to them, you can ask them these questions. Another thing is community practices. I believe now I see on LinkedIn, there's always people publishing things, and like you can actually go and say, if you're in safety, you can actually go and subscribe to one of the safety, depending on whether it's safety on process automation or electrical or process, whatever it is. You can go and join those, and then you can start posting questions and then collecting data. That's one. Again, I said books. There's like lots and lots of books. If you go to Google and just type a question, you'll be amazed with all the problems that you will see. And then you collect those data and you verify them. Like in Russia, I know you guys have lots of oil and gas companies which you can try to communicate with and get that data. I think that's it. And just
yeah, and they are very innovative. They are very innovative. They have data lakes. They gather all the data possible. They use wearable devices as well. So they're into digitalization for quite a while already.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. This was a very nice presentation. And we're switching to the next speaker. Pavel today with us from also from Russia, from nuclear energy company. Pavel, are you here? Yeah, you are. So you have your time started now. The presentation is on the screen. Feel free to control it. We're looking forward.
Okay, let me try to control presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. So hello again, everyone. My name is Pavel Kozlov. Whole of my professional life, I'm working at Rosatom at different organizations. And first, a few words about companies that I'm working in now. Rosatom is number 2 in the global nuclear energy market in terms of installed capacity after the Electricity de France. We operate and build nuclear facilities across Russia and abroad, currently having 38 nuclear power units and generating approximately 90% of total power in Russia. Furthermore, our team is approximately 70,000 of employees operate, so just you can imagine the scale. And we maintain nuclear power plants through the entire life cycle in 15 foreign countries, I mean abroad Russia. So we are such type of global company, not only a national nuclear operator. Oh, sorry. Digital transformation of Rosenergoatom personnel. Digital transformation, first of all, is a crucial performance boost tool. I really trust in that. And therefore, Rosenergoatom implements a comprehensive digital transformation program. And to make this transition more efficiently, we needed to transform all our HR and personal development processes and also corporate culture. We started to adopting a digital upskills program on site and distance courses, including employees to new technologies, to tell about new technologies to our employees. Then, in order to keep personnel up to date and motivated, because not only once you pass the course, it's okay, we develop also a digital leader model that allows employees to assess their digital skills and by themselves to understand what skills they need to improve to be more digital in nowadays. We are actively moving our events online. You see we here in online event, but I'm not just talking about standard Zoom sessions. We also arrange some kind of distance festivals connecting people from different regions of Russia and featuring much interaction. We are interactive platforms with music bands performing at breaks and coffee breaks and different interesting features. Our latest event, by the way, Skills Nights 2020, that decided to World Skills Issues, attracted more than 5,000 viewers online and already over 20,000 viewers on YouTube later. So in addition, we have a robotic process automation program that will involve 24 robots for now, designed to free personnel from other tasks, such as from routine tasks, and let them time to develop themselves and create some new safety improvement or other performance improvement features. At this time, we already employ 2 robots, only 2, but 10 more should be launched until the end of 2020. Approximately 850 work days already free from routine because of this robots were employed. So how we started? We launched the accelerator of HR digital transformation projects. The accelerator consisted of on-site events during which division employees not only got a detailed view of new technologies, but also considered how to apply them to improve their performance or nuclear power plants safety or personal safety. The accelerator resulted in over 100 connected to staff initiatives that were then reviewed by experts, with some of them growing into larger projects to improve plant operation safety and performance. Another one, just a small initiative that's already done. So let me share our flagship projects and recent activities. The one of our project is a virtual simulator designed to practice operating a 10 kilowatt distribution switchboard. That's pretty close with one which is Ilya talking about before me. It caught our attention right because physical simulators of this device that we have it already in our training center, but they are outdated. Thus raising the risk of electrical injuries. And this simulator supports 8 equipment operation scenarios, including repair and consequences of errors and accidents, and it's always up to date. So electric power personnel welcome this initiative very well, supporting it all the way. And Kroc won the tender and now helping us to implement this project exactly on site. And we think that this project significantly reduces electrical injuries and boosts staff safety. The project is progressing fast, really fast for our really conservative corporation. 4 of 8 training scenarios will be available late on March 2021. So the second one project is still about virtual reality, and this is about design of classroom to contain both all equipment and virtual simulators, as well as a visualization of nuclear power plant systems, not only 10 kilovolt switchboard, but also another type of equipment that located in restricted areas and hidden process flows. So not all equipment you always could see by your own, only during maybe repair company. So this project will help staff faster and better navigate through processes and accurately assess risks during various routine activities and emergencies. Currently, we are planning to ensure detailed visualization of 11 equipment types, including the operation and processes they are used for example, the corpse of nuclear reactor that only available during the time when power plant is under construction, but impossible to see what exactly happens inside of this only during repair company. So the third our big project is about Internet of Things technology. It ensures personal health monitoring and tracking at work. That's very important for plant management, medical professionals, and employees themselves, by the way. Indeed, employees that control operation of nuclear power plants bear a high risk and responsibility. By monitoring their health online and foreseeing problems, we can keep our staff safe, not only during periodical medicine supervisions, but we can faster help those who feel unwell just online, predict strokes, and due to a lot of information we collect, it's really possible to prevent, to understand virus infections such as COVID-19 due to temperature increasing and some other parameters. All the above makes this project really critical, especially today. At the same time, this project turned out to be the most difficult to implement. While development requirements and statement of work we came across several restrictions, such as a lack of online connection capabilities at nuclear power plants, because there is no wireless network due to security issues. So it's now we want to create, we want to move some another way, and we want to create a unified platform for personal health data analysis and storage. Just we have already made adjustments to the basic concept 2.0 of this project, and now moving towards our main goal, boost staff safety and performance. We just believe that if even there is no online monitoring, also health parameters is a really big data that we could to analyze really good and get some predictive analytics here. So the small things, it's about today online things. The most important task, not the most, but the really big important to prevent COVID-19 infections in Rosenergata facilities. Unlike office employees, we can't move our plant staff to remote work. As they closely monitor the reactor, which operates non-stop. So we create two tools to promptly obtain numbers of infected and recovered employees, generate statistics, and ensure predictive analytics using medical data. First one, it's a robot. It's an RPA instrument that daily collects information about staff health and location, and the platform, the second one, that use software robots to aggregate health information of all our employees and transmits it to the emergency response team. And also it can predict, for example, which day it's better to take computer tomography of your lung if you was COVID-19 positive, to prevent the hidden symptoms. So it's a really important thing, and it's also was created really fast. I think it's unusual for us, but we create both of these systems in 2 months, probably approximately. So it's really was fast for us. By the way, I have tested this system by myself. I was being diagnosed with COVID-19. Now, currently, I am self-quarantining. And I have completed the full cycle of checkups and recommendation of those algorithms. Okay, that's how Industry 4.0 solutions boosts plants' personal performance and efficiency and safety. We also are happy to share our projects expertise and share more information about this. About our project. So here is my contacts. We have prohibited LinkedIn in Russia, but I could share my Facebook link, Facebook profile here in chat. So please feel free to contact me and we could continue our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your speech. As I was listening and looking at the slides, I can name your presentation as a playbook for use cases for everybody. And I think all the participants would like to receive this presentation and use it as a guide for their own purposes.
Yes, exactly. On that presentation, I have agreement that it could be shared for all participants of our meetings. So feel free to send it to everyone who interested in it.
Oh, okay. And does anybody has a question? Ahmad, can you edit something?
No, at this moment, I have none. I'm happy with the presentation. Yeah, thank you for the insightful information. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, also, we have a question we've been discussing with previous speakers. What do you? I know in Russia, we would like to calculate a lot of stuff. Do you have any calculations? So do you need to have these calculations like a return of investments and the effect? Is it tangible projects for you?
Yes.
Can you count them somehow?
Well, all these projects go through the investment committee, so they all costs really. I can't tell how exactly much, but it's really a lot of money. And when we talk about safety, it's and security. That's bad to say, but you can count the exactly price of life because the company during the bad things happens, there is sorry. Sorry, one moment. That's insurance. Sorry, I forgot the word. Insurance. Insurance company should pay the price. So every life, it's bad to say, but it's cost exactly as much as it insured for. But that also, and not about insurance. When we talk with our finance investments committee, we always said another thing. There is a really big price of stopping facility. We lose money if facility stops during the investigation of some kind of safety and security issues goes. So we just not it just not cost us money because it's really hard to count exactly reputational risk, costs, and money. But if you count how much money you can just not to earn, not lose, but not to earn, while this investigation of some safety issues goes on, it's really a big amount of money. It's a lot of money. So it's really easy to protect your project if it connects with safety and security of personnel, because safety, by the way, as a previous speaker told already, for us it's not a priority, but it's our value. So it's in everywhere in all communications. So it's when we talk just generally, these projects always have a green light. But if we need to make some counts, put some figures on the paper, we always could count. We have a methodology.
That's great to know, because I think, of course, it's something very important, but you should have a framework how to do that. And making a quick summary before the next presentation, you should work with the partners who are deeply integrated in your business or in your industry, at least, for them to understand those processes and thinking of the value they can add on the each stage. So yeah, big companies like oil and gas, like energy, they mostly working with industrial companies, like industry specialized companies, as I can see from the context. Does anybody?
One more question in chat. I see that probably how robots help. That's a platform. That's an online platform with predictive analytics, and robots just help to send and to collect information from every person. Because when it was manually, there was a big amount, a lot of stuff who always every day calling to people. But now that all makes a robot. You get the message, text message from robot. Please tell what oxygen in your blood just because you have an equipment, or your temperature. You put it back. The robot all put this into an online platform, and already software on this online platform just make some predictive and show that okay, this one is good. This fluctuation about his temperature is not so big, so it's not so big risk about him that he's infected. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Pavel. Yeah, some kind of plastic integration.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
It takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's really a big wall between you and some kind of great decisions. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for participation. That was very useful, and we would like to share your results with everybody. And by the way, there were questions like if the presentation, where I can get the presentation, a part of the chat and the Telegram and other channels. We will send it directly to the email where stated in your registration to this event. So you will receive it anyway. Thank you very much, Pavel. And we are switching to the last but not least speaker. Muna, I have seen you are already connected and you are with us. Hello, one more time. Your presentation is already on the screen. And since you've been a bit later after we get some introduction before the presentation, please tell a few words about yourself and your job and what you're going to tell us. And then let's switch to your presentation. And the microphone. You need, yeah, now it's good.
Sorry. Thank you very much for having me today here. So I'm Muna Al-Shidani from Sultanate of Oman. I'm working for Ministry of Transportation, Communication and Information Technology. I'm the team lead of SAS Center for Fourth Industrial Revolution. Yeah, this is in short about me. Today I'll be talking about I will be talking about implementing XR technology in Industry 4.0. I know that I'm the last speaker, so I just go ahead and start the presentation so I don't take much of your time.
Just feel free to switch the slides using the keys or the mouse.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it doesn't change.
Oh, if not, let's, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If something doesn't work, just ask, somebody will switch it for you. Okay.
I'm just trying one more time. Okay, can somebody just go to the next slide, please? Okay. So yeah, I have an experience of almost 7 years working in virtual reality. We started in 2012 until today, and we have expanded our focus to AI and IoT as well. So today I'll be talking in general about extended reality to make sure that everyone is in the same place. The area of XR implementation in the industry. As well, we'll talk about what are the benefits of implementing XR in industry, and mention some stories and success examples of implementing XR in the industry. If you can go next, okay. Just in short, extended reality is the combination of virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. The difference between them, I think, just in a short brief, virtual reality is a completely virtual environment. Augmented reality and mixed reality, they are similar. The difference between them that in augmented reality you're using tablet, but in mixed reality we are using headsets. But it's not a full immersive environment. Can we go next, please? Okay, as you know, virtual reality is not something new to us. It has been started since 1968, but in a different mode, different functionalities, shape. As you can see, when they introduced the virtual reality, it was the size of a room. and it was connected to huge PCs and linked to the ceiling, which was so complicated. And nowadays we have the more simple devices, portables one in a small size with the cheapest price as well. I'll mention some of the areas where you can implement extended reality in the industry, and maybe the focus will be on the oil and gas field. One of the most areas that you can use is the training, where you can do a lot of training program for the people who are working on the field in order to teach them how to operate the equipment. There are equipments who are very huge, very complicated, and it's not easy to especially for the junior employees, for the trainees to understand it. So by using virtual reality or mixed reality, we can simplify it by using the simulations features. As well, in the training, you can do a lot of training programs to reduce the dangerous and the hazards. Instead of just taking the people to the dangerous and the hazardous areas, we can just transfer these scenarios into a virtual reality, so that people will be training and getting the subject, but in a safe place, especially when we talk about chemical, H2S and fire, etc. As well, in the training area, one of the training that even here in Oman has been implemented virtual reality is the confined space safety. We have some of the oil and gas company has shifted to a virtual training, so that people can get the training in a safe place. As well, handling the emergency and doing a lot of what-if scenarios that will be very difficult to do it in the field. So they just simulated through virtual reality, and they trained their juniors employees in a very safe environment. As well, extended reality has been used in inspections and maintenance. One of my colleagues has mentioned some examples previously using the mixed reality headsets. So it's one of the areas that really benefit the companies to use extended reality, where they can do the inspections and maintenance, whether it was on-site or remotely. Both can happen using augmented reality or mixed reality. As well, the remotely services, where the engineers will be contacting, for example, expertise from different country. They contacted virtually through extended reality, and they can remotely access the site and do the inspections, check the errors, and the maintenance, etc. The benefits of using extended reality in the industries are various. We noticed that in the oil and gas field, they prefer to use mixed reality instead of using virtual reality. One of the reasons is that mixed reality, it's not a complete immersive environment. It lets them the chance to see the functionality virtual, and at the same time they can simulate, and they can actually not simulate, they can see the real environment. So most of the oil and gas companies, they prefer using mixed reality instead of using virtual reality in their operations, maintenance, etc. So some of the benefits for using this technology in the industry, the operation cost goes down because you don't need to bring the trainees or the new employees, the junior employees to the site every time. You can just bring all the trainees in one room and let them train virtually by using the different headsets. As well, for the emergency cases, usually the oil and gas companies, they contact they don't have all the expertise in-house. So whenever they have some cases, they'll have to contact international expertise, which really cost them, they cost very high. And at the same time, they will need to travel to the country so that they can fix the issues and the emergency case that's happening. So if you're using extended reality, you can cut all your operation costs, some of your operation costs, by just dealing with the junior employees and the expertise through extended reality, whether it was mixed reality or augmented reality. At the same time, you can cut the operation cost by reducing the hard copy manuals, the material that the hard copy materials that's been spent for each unit or each equipment that has. Usually it comes with the manuals where you need to have like more than one hard copy so that people can learn more about it. So if you have such extended reality systems in place, you will not be required any more hard copies, and you can rely on the XR applications. As well, one of the benefits is that your I call them trainees because usually the junior employees they get minimum 3 months of training, and some of the companies the training extend to a year. That's why I'm calling them trainees. So by using this technology, you will be training these people in a safe place. They will not be exposed to hazards, especially that we had some conversation with oil and gas companies. Usually they say that these new joiner, they don't have that confidence. They don't have the right skills. Even if they have the skills, they don't have the confidence just to go to the field and do the work, because it's dangerous, and there are so many safety procedures they need to follow. So when they used mixed reality training, as well virtual reality training, they train them in a very safe place, and at the same time they raise their skills. They got better skills. They could learn in a short period. As well, they get the confidence going to the site, doing the different operations required for them for the different jobs. So you will be, they will not be exposed to the hazards. As I mentioned, the quality of the work will increase because they have more confidence. They learn fast, so that they can start operating in an early stage instead of just having 3 to 6 months of training. They reduce the period and they start to produce. As well, the risk of the hardware and the equipment, expensive equipment to damage will increase because people skills will get high, and they will know how to deal with such equipment with a more confident. As well, it will improve the maintenance efficiency. The example that I mentioned about doing the maintenance and the inspections, whether it was in-house or remotely, but using this kind of technology, it really will improve the maintenance because they can visualize all the process that they have to do. I remember communicating with some people, even from the telecommunication industry. They were like in the first 1 or 2 years when they started, they were like really getting, they were struggling to learn the different, whether it was oil and gas or telecommunication, the different services that they provide, the operations. It was too difficult for them when they, because they were fresh graduate, they didn't know much about the industry. But when they implemented virtual reality and mixed reality to the training inductions, it really improved their skills because they could visualize things. It's not just they see videos or pictures or text from books. When they could visualize it, it really sticks in their head. And this is the same things happening with the kids' schools. Here in Umbak and Oman, we know some schools who are using virtual reality. Just having the simulation part, seeing things in 3D models, it really interests the people and let them want to learn more and increase their productivity. Yeah, so as well by using this kind of technology, it will improve the teamwork and communication, because usually in the site, people will be in a different location and they need to communicate with each other, sometimes by using phones or walkie-talkie. But having such mixed reality system in place, they will be able to communicate easily, and at the same time they will be visualizing the same content. Yeah, so these are in general some of the benefits of using extended reality and the industries. Here I'll be sharing some of the success stories from some here in Oman, local companies or international companies. I like to share some of their success stories. Malaysian Petroleum, they have used extended reality, and the success was like they were able to replace the turbine parts in 5 days, 5 days instead of 10 days. So here is there is a save of time and a cost as well, and the efficiency has been increased by using XR. As well, they have saved $50,000 for the operation costs, whether it was travel expenses and rest of the logistics that's required for the travel. So they have saved this much of amount because they could solve the issue remotely without the requirement of a travel. Boeing as well, they have cut their training program or their induction program. It was 3 months. They cut it to 2 months. By using this technology, it's helped them to cut the training duration. And in the future, they aim to cut even 50% more in the future. There's a company called Program ACE. They have created oil and gas platform simulation, which is a general oil and gas simulation, and they trained more than 500 employees. And the result was like they reduced the accidents and injuries by 43%. And the time of adapting to the new equipment, it has been reduced to 27%. So these are some of success stories that's in the market for organizations using XR. Here back in Oman, we had a company, Occidental. Occidental Oman were the first in their group to implement virtual reality induction program, and the result was really fantastic. They have similar results of Boeing. They reduced their training program. It was 3 months. Now they're doing it in almost 1.5 to 2 months. The capability of the employees increased, their efficiency increased, and even their expertise, they were able to access some of the areas in the rig where they were not able to access it before. But by using virtual reality, it helped them to access this area. And they are one of the, as I said, the leader companies here in Oman, and they were the first to implement virtual reality. They have now in the desert a special VR lab. It has been used for their training. As well, one of our logistics companies, the crane operator, we have developed a crane operator training program. Usually, their training program is like in a server room, in a room where they will be controlling the crane. But before taking the new employees to the control room, they wanted to do a virtual reality, and it's just a recent project that we are working with them. Yeah, to operate the crane. Yeah, I'll move forward. Here you can, I'll just play the video. Oops. So you can see some samples of the crane. Can somebody, oh, what happened? Can I share, I can, okay. If you can please just play the video. Can I have the voice over? Yeah, so this project is the crane operator. We have designed the room, and by using Oculus Quest, they can control and do the crane operation. And it's I can say 95% it's simulating the real environment. And here is another project, which is the electric circuit, where it's an educational project where people can learn about the electric circuits in the different level, but virtually in a safe environment. Yeah. Can I go to the next slide? Okay. I think this is my last slide. Just there are some general points that you need to consider if you decided to go for the virtual reality or augmented reality. You might need a reliable wireless network, especially for the headsets that is connected to a PC. But I think in the coming days, they will be producing more of standalone headsets where you're not required to connect it to the wireless, to the internet and wireless. You just, once you install the project or the content to the headset, you will be able to play it freely without the need of internet. As well, XR content, especially for the oil and gas field, it cannot be played in a it have to be played in a safe environment. It cannot be close to hazardous materials because the HSC procedure is safely, and it's really strict in the oil and gas field. So we need to consider that. Maybe the training programs can be done in a safe environment instead of going to places close to the hazards. But always remember, if you have better trained employees, it will cause you less accidents. Less accidents contribute to decrease injuries, expenses, and production. Better safety mean lower compensation costs. So really, there is a benefit of applying extended reality in the field, but there are some points that you need to consider it. And from the experience that we saw back here in Oman with the oil and gas companies, they really benefit from using extended reality technology. Yes, this is in short. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll welcome to answer them.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We have some discussions, and actually, I think we will just shift your questions to the discussion right with all together. But thank you for particular cases and real world examples. I think this will be very useful. And again, you will get the presentation and can use it for your own business. We still have some discussion in the chat. So Ahmad making some statements and nice thoughts in the chat. So read the chat. And now I ask all the speakers to connect, and we'll just make some discussion around Muna's presentation and get some few minutes about chit-chatting about all the cases and make some summary. But Muna, have you around the XR technologies? We've seen a great example from you. Can you maybe you tell how many people are going through this training? Is it a particular place within the company where they come and participate, or they can use it somewhere like on distributed basis, so they can use it in the area they work, or it's a single place?
Yeah. For the Oxy case, they have built a lab in the desert, which has 12 PCs. So every batch of 12 employees can get the training, and it's dedicated for their junior employees. To be in the field, every 12 people can get training in a batch. Yeah, if that's answer your questions. But as going further for the new headsets, the same contents can be shifted to a portable headsets. Because the headset that we developed for them was back in 2015. Nowadays, we have the Oculus Quest, for example, where it's a standalone kit, and it's portable. You can use it in a classroom, in your office, at home, anywhere you will be. If you just have the headsets, you can get training on that content. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think yes, that's a wonderful one. Yes.
Yeah. So sorry, I was disconnected for a few seconds. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay, no worry.
Okay, I invite all the speakers to connect as well. Ahmad, if you're still with us, feel free to turn your camera on.
Yeah, I'm on.
No, I mean Hamad.
Oh, yes,
Oh, Hamad, sorry.
Sorry for my pronunciation. Sometimes it's a tough subject.
Sorry for that. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll just can I ask questions here?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That's exactly what time we
Okay,
have now for.
I think it's good when it comes to savings. I mean, I've seen Muna's presentation, very nice presentation. But when it comes to savings, when it comes to achieving some tangible benefits from using those mixed reality or extended reality, it's always a challenge. So it would be nice if it's if she can maybe go over, if you can go over some maybe some data as to how they were able to make these savings, because it's always a challenge for us.
Yeah, and after they started using the project, we approached them 1 year after they used the project. And how did they save the cost? One of the way was like their junior employees, they were getting 3-month training before going to the site. But by using virtual reality, they just give them 1.5 months on a training or a classroom training. After that, they could go to the site confident. So we can say they save the cost of the training. The efficiency of their employees become higher because they could learn fast. So in this ways, they could save the company some cost. As well, for the expertise, I'm not sure, and it's not a direct way of saving, but we were surprised that even their expertise, they were using the VR simulation to access some of the areas they were not able to access it directly in the field. For example, the high places, confined spaces, which in a way or another, it's supported to increase the productivity and the efficiency of the employees in the production of the companies. So these were some of the ways of saving costs. As well, for their training, usually they have a lot of operation costs, which been reduced when they used the virtual reality. What they did, they were not sure from the beginning, should they go for such project or no. So we divided the project into phases. We started phase 1. They tested and they let the employees try it. And when they saw acceptance and people skills get better, they decided to go to the phase 2. And I think they will be going to phase 3 so that they can complete the entire oil rig. Yeah, so these are some of the ways that they cut cost benefits.
Could maybe another question? Could mixed reality maybe used in lieu of extended reality, and could we achieve the same benefits?
For our case, we used virtual reality, but when I was doing some studies and research, most of the oil and gas, they preferred using mixed reality. Because most of the services that they will benefit is the maintenance and the remotely services. For the training part, virtual reality can be fine, but for inspections, maintenance, and remotely services, mixed reality is better, so that they will not be isolated from the whole environment. They will be using, they will be seeing the real environment, and there will be some part which is virtual, where they play the screens, and they can see the different functionality that they have to do for the equipment or for the rig, whatever processes they will be doing. So I think mixed reality is more efficient in the oil and gas field.
And also, I want to complement your question with some comments that not only in oil and gas, but when you're talking about mixed reality, it's not only about training, it's about integration of the system with the different production system. For example, predictive maintenance system. So just imagine you're walking through the production environment, and you have special glasses, and you're looking at the different machines, and some of them are marked red based on machine learning forecast that it could be something dangerous there, and you make your priority to go there first, and then to the another, and so on. And also you can see that some figures from the business intelligence system or from the MES system, like all those production system. And as I know, like some cases from Saudi Aramco, from open community, that you use this machine learning to forecast like different settings for the machines to make better quality and better efficiency. And the integration with mixed reality is the best for that.
Yeah. And going further, I think all the new technologies like IoT, AI, and mixed reality, data science, all of them will be merging together in order to get the best out of them.
The question is for everybody. If you're somebody who are working in the not small but not the biggest company, and you're looking into some activities or projects to make safety and health at your company on the next level, what is the first step you will recommend to this person to do? To issue some paper, some document, some rule, or to start with some pilot with technology, or to set up some division, looking into it? What is the first best step according to you? What are your thoughts? Ahmad, Hisham, maybe you can share your experience.
Can you repeat your question? Sorry, I didn't get
like
it.
if you're a person who is working at some production company, what is your first step to go with the security and health in your environment for the next level? So to do some technology project, to do some organizational project, to do a survey or study, to do a consultancy, probably what is the best first step to start?
I think survey is excellent. I like surveys because yeah, that would help, especially if you can make it more specific, as to maybe what are the jobs that require how can we use what sort of problems that you have.
Investigate pain points, right?
Yeah, you have to be more specific. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot just make it open-ended. But just one thing, if you notice what Muna was showing through this extended reality, I always get this idea in my mind, which is when they present some examples, and also what Ilya was showing, they always use simple examples. But in reality, if, for example, for me, if I want to use this technology, especially the extended technology in a facility, I would see, can I actually build a boiler? And can I build the control system? Can I build a system where I can ask someone to operate a boiler from point zero to the end that mimics the same process that are actually happening in the plant? Now, you will see if it is easy to use that technology or not. But if you take only bits and pieces, you may not be testing how usable or extendable or scalable that system is. Because we all know if you want to operate a boiler, it's so difficult. I mean, not difficult, but it has so many steps. You know, you have to purge, you have to wait 5 minutes. There's so many like permissives that you have to satisfy, and then you have to light up, and then you have to do this and that, and you have to do your logic in the shutdown system, and then you have to satisfy the logic, and so you have to build a system that looks exactly the same as your current system, and to do that, I think it will take you months, and it'll drive this guy, whoever created that extended reality, drive him crazy, because but if you can do this, then I would say yes, people will jump on what you have, because it's not an easy thing to test or to train people, especially operators or control system engineers, on how to operate like a control system for a boiler, and then make it, even add to it additions of what sort of, based on your experience, what are the problems that you have. So for example, my air, I don't know, my force draft fan air transmitter doesn't work. So how can I create a nuisance reading that might keep tripping me? Or so what I'm trying to say is, unless you can put it to a really great use, then nobody's going to buy it, or nobody's going to look at it, because, you know, okay, it's good, but really, is that something that will make my management or my senior engineers open their eyes and really feel happy? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, can I add to that?
Absolutely.
I think if you want to take safety to the next level in any organization, especially with adopting like the mixed reality, is to adopt what they call it philanthropy. Philanthropy is the relationship, changing the relationship between people inside the organization, the type of scales that we have: management, employee, middle management. Philanthropy means that taking care of each other, whether it is executive or employee or manager, between each other. Because with Industry 4 in advance, we will not have maybe the lagging indicators that we have today, like depending on the number of damages, depending on the number of injuries, depending on the number of near misses, because all of these aspects will be pre-programmed inside the machines, which will eliminate having those accidents in reality. And what's happening in the training itself, as Munahab elaborated in her presentation, is that we will have even limitation to the mixed reality. For example, the age or type of generation that we are dealing with inside the organization. It matters. Age matters. Type of generation matters. If we are talking about millennials, that's very easy for them to play with the virtual reality, augmented reality, or you know, any reality. It's very easy because they are used to the Playboy, they are the games, the Xbox, just to name it, the PS4 and PS5 that's coming. They are used to it. So when they come to the industry, you can give them a toy like the virtual reality, and they can cope with it. But for the older generation, or the people like us, maybe like me, let me say myself, maybe it's much difficult to adapt with the usage of augmented reality, for example, or virtual reality. This is one limitation that we need to take care of. The second one is the foreseeability. of hazard. If you are a safety professional, you need to predict what could go wrong. And Hamad have pressed on a very important thing. How can I alter the boiler, for example, to give me a devastating result inside the training room? You know, what type of real scenarios that I can put into the program in order to distract the trainees and see how they will react inside the simulator. And with foreseeability, it's very difficult. You know, like the example that I give with 737 MAX, the foreseeability was there that stalling of a plane with this system, the MCAS, can bring the plane down. But they didn't foresee that the pilot didn't know about the MCAS. So again, they need to foresee this aspect. And when you say it's not foreseeable, it's very difficult to know the unknown. So unfortunately, we need to have the experience from an incident or occasion that it happened in reality. And this is how we learn, trial and error.
Thank you for your thought. As I make a short summary, both of you, and actually this is a red line through the whole discussion we had today, that's you should start not from drilling down from top down approach. When you say we have virtual reality, let's do it for everybody, let's learn something for some purpose. It's better to encourage and involve people like from production, from the from bottom up approach, to get those cases. Where is the pain point from them? And you can use a survey, you can use an interview, you can use a third party partner who are deeply into your process, but you should first figure out those cases and then look for a technology to better fit this case. I think this is what we are talking about. What now actually? Oh, Buna, yeah.
Yeah, if you just allow me to add one point. Here in the ministry, we are dealing a lot with the startups and SMEs, and as well we are in contact with the big organizations in the government to know what's exactly their needs. I just can add, for any startups or SMEs who would like to start a business, for example, if they are specialized in virtual reality, there are so many opportunities in the industries that the industry themselves, they don't know about it. So if you are capable, for example, in virtual reality, data science, IoT, AI, whatever of these technologies, these are the future technologies, and you can create the business model and sell it to the organizations. Because especially the traditional organization, they hear about these all 4.0 technologies, but they don't know how to implement it. They don't know where it will benefit for them. So whoever wants to do a business, they will need to study themselves and market the ideas to the organizations, and there a deal can happen.
But so you have something like an accelerator?
We do have an incubation center.
Mm-hmm.
Where we incubate startups and SMEs. Yeah,
that's a great thing to have, because of course sometimes you can't propose some kind of solution because you don't have in mind the possible ideas, and startups are the best to generate them. I have one last question, like for everybody, and this you can complement this question with your summary and your thoughts and your final word for the whole participants. But before we do that, I'll ask Ahmad to make the winner list, people who were the most interesting and participating with their comments today. Ahmad, can you tell the winners for the Netflix subscription?
Yeah, the winners are, first is Mustafa Musa, and second is Tatiana Pavlova.
And we do applause.
Great.
It's great, guys. Since this event is global, there will be no physical price. That will be Netflix price. So you will get this as soon as my team will get to you and provide you a code or an account with subscribed Netflix already. Thank you for your participation. Your comments were with such a wisdom and right into the point. But the last question is not about like concrete business right now. It's about the future. You see the companies, they're moving more and more to the people, and they became more people oriented. Now you're thinking about hydration and wellness. Some companies are thinking about how fit are you and make some fitness centers for you and sport activities. Some companies, and I know quite a lot right now, have their own psychologist, and they're looking at your family and your mind health. And this is also important probably for you to be productive. But how far do you think they should go in these activities? Where is the line where you don't need to cross, or a company became the second, the bigger family for people? What is your thought on that? If you don't have an answer or think about this question, just say something about you, like something for the participants, like the bye-bye word. Let's start with all the speakers. Hisham, I will give the word for you first. Okay.
Yeah, basically, when I did my master's degree in the UK, this was my topic, well-being, let's call it. Yeah, it's called well-being.
Okay.
Yeah, well-being in organization. Organizations need productivity. If you need productivity, you need to have your people happy. They need to like the organization. The term like is not about the incentives that you give them. It's about wake up in the morning and saying, you know what, I'm going to my company today, and saying my company, this generation of saying my company itself is something that will not be built by incentives or money. It will be built about something more than that. Making centers like child care center, like women that come to work, she can put her kids that are 3 years or 2 years or 1 year inside a kindergarten in the organization. Having a gym, dedicated half an hour gym for the employees. I know some companies like Google, they have an open check for everything. They have a doctor inside the organization. They have a game stadium. They have a casino. They are allowed to do their offices the way that they want to design it, like at home. They are even allowed to come to work by wearing pajamas, the home pajamas. So you can see the interaction and how productive is Google. And the university that I studied in, it is the University of South Wales, they have a scheme of giving the lecturers a half an hour a day for the gym. And this have been researched by the university itself. And they found that teachers that take this half an hour, they are more productive and more susceptible to stay in the university after hours. So you can see the relation of, and it is free paid, like there's no demands of overtime and these things. Other than the socialist companies, like in France, this doesn't work, because in France they like to work 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, and they don't want to be called even after work. So it's about the culture also that they have. So yeah, it do add value to the organization to have a break in between that is from the organization to the employee to increase the well-being.
Thank you very much. We're on the same page according to our thoughts. Ilya, maybe your words and your answer to the question, or some.
Sorry, Alexey, I cannot answer the question because I don't know what to say, but I would love to come back to what Hisham said and what Hamad said. So, and to be honest, I was totally agree with when we, for example, establish new solution, we need to focus on pain and the exact requirements, and not to pull the technology to the problem. But the problem is that what was the first, egg or chicken? You don't know. Of course, we need to work from the both sides. And I totally disagree that we need to make things more complicated than they are. For example, if you can solve the exact problem, let's try not to find something why we cannot do it. Let's try to find why we can. So that's why if we go back to VR simulations, I would say that from my perspective, I found personally as an owner of business that I can solve problems of the client, of the exact in the exact situations, not everywhere. And now it works. So I don't want to make it more complicated. So it works and it's ready to use. That's why my point is, let's again, let's not do, uh, let's not be too skeptic for it. Let's be in the middle, not too optimistic and not skeptic.
That's called realistic. Fair enough.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ilya. Hamad, what's your like the final word or the thoughts you want to share with us?
Just a quick thing. I think it would be nice to summarize all these presentations and maybe share it with everyone. And the other thing is maybe the points which we raised, it might be a good idea to just summarize the main points and have a follow-up. I think otherwise we're just, you know, we're not closing the loop. You know, just have some, at least a plan on how to address those questions. For example, can we use, back to the extended reality, can we use extended reality to make, to actually make a huge impact, not just small or medium, to make a huge impact? And how can we do that? And are there any companies that or developers or that we can work with definitely to take this to the next level?
This is a great idea, actually, from you. Thank you. We are going to send this presentation, send the video, but the video is quite long. It's almost 3 hours. We're here, sitting here. I'm not sure everybody will have time to watch everything, but I will ask NNTC and NGN partners, who are co-organizers, to make some posts with those theses and with this something to the media with the short points of this speech. I think that will be useful for a lot of people. Thank you for your idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for participating. And again, last but not least, Muna, what's your thoughts on the question and any final words that you want to share with us?
Yes, I'll just say technology is available, but before deciding on going to which technology, you need to know what's your exact problem and will the technology solve it or no? Because in some ways, some people or some organizations, they just want to have the fancy touch of it, that they are using it for the fancy and for the show, but that will not solve the problem. So I would just want to say that technology is there. Before deciding going for which one, make sure that you really need it and you know how you will benefit from it. And thank you very much for having me today here. And my contact, I think, is there. If you need to contact with me, do so, please.
Thank you very much. You feel free to share your contact with the chat. For that's for everybody. I will also share my contact here. But now we're finishing this conference. That was a great pleasure for me. I think all of the participants to get the real cases from you, some thoughts around people in this processes, around the business and money. So those very helpful. From the digital leader perspective, we thank you also for participation and we'll share all the materials. So stay tuned to our events. Hopefully this is not the last events with this crowd, and we'll hear from you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank
Stay
you
tuned.
Very much.
Thank you. See you
Bye.
guys.
You take care.